Hey there and welcome to the A.D.K channel, and today I'm Dave. I'm Dave every day actually, but today I'm doing the EP review of the band Vulture Industries and Ghosts from the Past. Now normally the EP reviews, what we do is we listen to the EP, we make a load of notes, and then we give you our feedback on it after we've had a chance to digest it. But for today's one, I'm literally going to listen to the tracks as we go. You will see snippets as I speak of what I think of each track, so you won't have to watch me there for the whole time of listening to 3.5 minutes of each song, but you'll get the gist of what I kind of think about each track when I cut it all to pieces, and then I'll give you my overall impression of the album at the end. Okay, so the first track we have on the album is called New Lords of Light. It is a track I have heard before because I've already done we did a reaction video to this, so I am aware of this one, but we're going to kick it off again because it was a while ago that we did it. So yeah, let's go check out New Lords of Light. Okay, so the first kind of thought about this track is it's the opening track on the album, or the EP, so you want to make a good first impression. I quite liked this track when it came out. It wasn't something that Andy and Kirk were really into, but I liked it because it reminds me of that kind of vibe of the Sisters of Mercy. Yeah, so I remember Sisters of Mercy was the kind of vibe I went with. Goth rock in a way. It's a little bit industrial, but it also has elements of kind of classic just a bit of classic rock, a bit of hard rock elements, a little bit of like just the punky just riffing, like Ramones, if you like. I mean, the track itself is a fairly simplistic track, but it's just like a real kind of strum along. It's not what we call like a real riff-tastic kind of song. So if you're sitting there looking for lots of cool, interesting riffs, it's not really for you. But if you just want to vibe, it's a great track. It has some nice, interesting structures. So kind of drops off. It does a little bit of it like has this kind of main core to it, but then it kind of just steps back, goes off to something else, and just kind of pulls it back to this main core. And then it goes off and does a little bit else, or something different vibe, and then comes back to this main core. I love the chorus, great vocals over that. Okay, so let's go check out track number 2. So track number 2 is Satan. Is it Satan or Saturn? Saturn devouring his young. Yeah, I'm sure it should say Satan devouring his young, but say Saturn. Okay, Saturn devouring his young. Let's go check it out. Okay, straight away what I'm getting off this particular track is more Black Sabbath-y kind of vibes, real kind of bluesy, doomy hard rock riff. It's got a kind of a swaggery attitude. It's a lot slower tempo. It's interesting because the drums are kind of giving you like this punky, like half sort of double tempo, so ba 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 ba. But the guitar's like ja 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 ja. So you've got two different melodies or two different time signatures of the instruments. They both work really well together, but it's almost like they're playing two different songs, which is kind of cool. I think bands that, if you're into like sort of like the Smiths and the Cure and stuff like that, I think you would like this. It's kind of dark, doomy, post-industrial goth rock. It's kind of cool. I like it. We've got some chanting in here. Oh, it's great. I like that. Different. It's not sounding like everything else that's out there. I like on that particular track the vocal harmonization. So when they're doing the ha, that's very cool. Not a lot of people do that. It has got a kind of punkish attitude to it as well, which I like. So yeah, good track overall. Track 3 on this EP is This Hell Is Mine. Let's check it out. Interesting start. It's very theatrical, just kind of clear vocals, just with a little bit of a guitar strum out. No riffage at this point. It's very like theatrical stage, so singing. It's not what we call like rock, metal, that style of vocals. It feels like you're listening to a stage show performance. See, on this particular track, I'm getting more of like something like Gary Newman. It's still rock, it's still kind of punky attitude, a little bit industrial. But I could hear Gary Newman doing this sort of track. Bit more of a chug overall, like I'm almost getting a bit now of like a Nick Cave vibe on this. It's all kind of going very low after all. It's intriguing. This hell is mine. It feels more of a storytelling, this one. It's like almost an element of folkness to this. Great build up going into the chorus. Okay, it's a solid track there for This Hell Is Mine. I really liked that one. I like the idea of the folkiness of it. So track 4 is Deeper. Let's have a listen to how this one goes. It's got almost like a mariachi band from the Wild Wild West start to this. A bit of a strumming guitar with a bit of a trumpet going over it. I mean, this would fall into almost the alternative rock. It reminds me of a band from the UK, TerraVision. Band here that did Tequila. It makes you happy. This is not a tequila song, but it has got that kind of tempo vibe to it. It's got that Mexican feel to it. It's quite no, let's go 6 minutes though. I was gonna say it feels like it's a short song because we're like a minute in, or I am a minute in, and it hasn't got into any sort of lyrics apart from them going I mean, this is the first song on here that's had a really interesting interest, but it's actually lost my interest because it's taken a minute and a half and before it's really started to do anything. So it may pull me back though. Needs a good hooky chorus. I mean, it's heavily reliant on this mariachi, this trumpet lead. Now, what would be the guitar part? So it's got like a guitar part. I mean, they're throwing in all sorts of instrumentation here over the midsection. They've got like maracas, some sort of clackers things. It's an interesting track. It's probably the weakest track I think of off the EP as it stands, or the album as it stands. For me anyway, didn't really do anything to really grab me. I liked the mariachi Mexico kind of vibe, a bit of the old Mexican cowboy kind of movies that we'd expect, but yeah, it wasn't enough time to hook me like the others. The others have had a bit more of an eeriness to this. Right Here in the Dark is track 5. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, I like this one. It's got sass, it's got attitude, it's got a bit of swing to it. You can't hear the music, I'm afraid. I'm not allowed to play it because then the video gets blocked, but you just have to take it from me. It's like, okay, you got a bit of a swing, got a bit of attitude on it. He's got a very distinctive vocal style, so he likes his like stage performance style vocalization. It would be great to see live. I think they'd be really good to see live, to see this sort of performance. I'm getting so much Nick Cave off of this album so far. I don't know why I'm getting a Muse vibe now. It's weird. There are so many elements of the song and so far the album that I have liked, but there are certain bits where I'm kind of like it feels underutilized, or bits where they're like building up on tracks, but they haven't really kicked off as soon as they were at the right point. They've let it drag a little bit before it kicks off. I'd like to hear a heavier guitar. So Right Here in the Dark, it's got like it had a good build up through the verse into a chorus, and the chorus is kind of like it's like a ba da da ba 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 da da ba, but the guitars just feel very thin. I mean, what it is allowing is the vocals are really nice and prominent, and that if you had a heavier guitar, you wouldn't hear that. But I think it just needs something to elevate it a little bit more. What I can say is across all the songs so far, the bass sounds great. Everything sounds really well produced across the albums. The drums, bass, guitar. Bass has just got a really good tone and it's sitting nicely up in the mix. Normally it's quite low down. This one's quite sitting there quite nicely. Okay, track 6. We've got Not By Blood, But By Words. They're not shy of doing relatively longish like rock songs. There's not really any like 3-minute kind of commercial radio sort of songs on here. They're all kind of sitting there in the 5-minute average. Okay, so Not My Blood got a really cool kind of bass line. It's not just like a standard down picking, or it's really driving that rhythm. I mean, we're probably talking about a 90 BPM song here, so beats per minute. It's not a fast track. The guitars added nice little touch textures, nice little bit of layering. Vocals really like light. The way they're coming in on the actual track, they're just very subtle. He's not trying to project, he's just trying to talk to you in almost like a whisper. A little bit of breathing. I'm kind of getting like a Typo Negative vibe now on this. You can almost hear the influences this band's been borrowing from. So we've got like Nick Cave, Typo Negative, Gary Newman, elements of some of the industrial bands like Nine Inch Nails, just a lot, not with the high energy elements. I do find though that the voice, although it's very unique, I'm not sure if I could listen from start to finish comfortably for a whole album, because he's so expressive. I think if you were to pick one or two tracks and listen to them, any of the two tracks off the album, listen to them or put it into a shuffle with other songs, it would sit really nicely. Because then the vocals sort of kick back in. Each time they kick back in, they're more of a surprise rather than a consistent. Okay, let's check out the last one. So the last track of the album, Tyrants Weep Alone. Now, let's hopefully, they've done a good thing and put a strong song at the end. Some people put a weak song. Let's try. Find out. Tyrants Weep Alone. Strummy acoustic guitar track. It's a 9-minute song. I mean, it's a slow build. Definitely a slow build. I do like the secondary balanced female vocals on this. This sounds nice. They work really well. At the minute mark, we kind of start to get the rest of the band kicking in. I'm getting this. It's just like this almost bards of old, telling a tale. I mean, it's switching up and it's giving me stuff from like some of the sort of infusion, some of the more trippy stuff from like the 70s. So we've got some classic hard rock in there. We're getting some sort of alternative rock as well. Nice little lead melodies. I have no idea what instrument's just coming now. I thought it was a freaking kazoo for a minute ago. There's some sort of wind instrument, but I can't work out what it is. It sounds very interesting. I really like the chord choice. It's like it's not kind of going. It's like to go into a minor chord rather than into a major. See, it feels a little bit of a sad. It feels like there's a depressing story here. Very interesting. Okay, for the outro, we're getting like a nice double tempo. We're taking all that energy from the early parts of the song. We're building it up. So it's a great build, a great way to take an ending to this actual album. Okay, there we go. Tyrants Weep Alone, and that is, of course, the rest of the album. So that's Ghosts from the Past. So as this is the first time I've really properly heard anything from them, apart from obviously the single video for New Lords of Light. I don't know if this is indicative of any of the other stuff they've ever done, or if or how that actually sits within their scope of work. This might even be their first album, but I don't think it is. I think they've been doing a few albums, if I remember correctly. I am trying to find the press release from them, but no, I can't find it. Apologies. But yeah, no, I'm sure this isn't their first. It can't be their first. They sound far too accomplished for this to have been their first. So I'm going to judge it purely on what I've heard there today. They're not trying to sit within the normalities of current trends. They are doing their own thing, which I really like. There's some great influences in there. As I said, I've called them all out throughout the video, so I don't really need to go through it. But if you're unsure, the Nick Caves, the Gary Newmans, I think if you're a Nick Cave fan, you'll really enjoy this. If you're into kind of anything from like the Stranglers, would be a good reference point. So the Stranglers punk era, that sort of vibe, there was definitely elements of that in Tyrants Weep Alone. There, I had some Strangler vibes in there. Definitely heard some Gary Newman bits in some of them. From the more heavier side of it, there wasn't really any. The guitars and stuff never really get heavy enough for you to compare them to the like postmodern industrial bands like the Rammsteins, and then of course Nine Inch Nails, of course, and Ministry. But you can see, if they had heavier guitars, they would be able to kind of flow in with their contemporaries as well. did get some Typo Negative vibes. The singer's got such a unique and distinctive voice in how he does it. It's almost pushing into he wants to be in an opera. How he wants to put that across, and I thought that's great. I really enjoyed it. I know Andy and Kirk would not enjoy this on the ADK channel. It's not their sort of thing. Same as when we do Doom albums or black metal albums. I don't listen to them or review them because they're not my cup of tea. So in this case, it's down to me to judge what I think this album is. So we score the albums on the or the EPs on the channel out of 4 categories. We have a bin it if it's a rubbish album and it's just no good at all, a trade it if it's an okay album and it's just not your sort of thing, but you think someone else could enjoy it, so it's a very selective album, stream it if it's a good album, but maybe not something you'd personally spend money on, but you never know, other people might, and of course buy it if we think it's something you should just go out and buy. So from the A.D.K channel, i.e. from myself, today I'm going to be giving this a stream it. It isn't going to be for everyone, but I think there is a lot of people that would find something on this album that's well worth listening to. So yes, Vulture, Industries and Ghosts from the Past gets a stream it from the A.D.K channel. Now if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.